you need to know if it's going to rain tomorrow. Today, you just glance at an app, but strip that away. No satellites, no radar, no forecast. Just you, the sky, and a decision that could mean life or death. Do we move camp or do we stay? For tens of thousands of years, your ancestors had to answer that with nothing but their senses. And here's the surprising part. They got shockingly good at it. Because the sky is always telling you what it's about to do, if you know how to read it. We tend to dismiss old weather sayings as superstition, quaint little rhymes, peasant nonsense. But that's a serious mistake. Most of that folk knowledge is something far more impressive. It's thousands of years of careful observation boiled down into a rhyme you can remember, a living database passed from mouth to mouth. The trick is that it mixes real physics with pure coincidence. So let's separate the two, starting from the ground up. The first level of forecasting is what's happening right now around you. Start with your nose. Before rain, the air often smells different, earthy, and sharp. That smell is real, released by damp soil and by ozone carried down from a storm. Next, feel the wind. A sudden shift in wind direction often means a weather system is arriving, and then look up at the nearest clouds. Thin, wispy clouds high up can mean bad weather is coming within a day. Clouds piling up tall, like towers, are a warning of thunderstorms. None of this is magic. It's a weather front, moving in, red with the naked eye. But why do these signs work at all? Underneath almost all of it is one invisible thing: air pressure. When air pressure falls, bad weather is usually on the way. Your ancestors had no barometer to measure it, but they could feel its effects everywhere. Smoke from a fire hangs low when pressure drops. Distant sounds seem to carry farther. Some people even feel it in their joints. They were reading a pressure gauge they couldn't see, through its shadow on the world. Which brings us to the second level, and it's a clever one. If you can't sense the pressure yourself, watch the animals that can. Animals are living instruments, far more sensitive than we are. Birds often fly lower before a storm. That's because the falling pressure pushes the insects they hunt closer to the ground. Ants have been seen sealing up their nests before rain. Cattle may lie down. Frogs call louder as the humidity climbs. Even some flowers, like the daisy, close their petals as the air grows damp. Your ancestors didn't need to understand the physics. They just had to notice that when the swallows flew low, the rain came. The animals were their forecast, broadcasting for free. Now we climb to the third level, reading the sky itself. And here is the most famous weather saying of all. Red sky at night, sailors' delight. Red sky in morning, sailors' warning. It sounds like a charming rhyme. It's actually solid science. In the middle latitudes, most weather travels from west to east. A deep red sunset means the setting sun is shining through clean, dry air to your west. That good weather is heading straight for you. But a red sky at dawn means that dry air has already passed to the east, and what's often coming behind it from the west is moisture and storms. People were reading the position of entire weather systems, using nothing but color. Then there's an eerier sign, a ghostly ring around the moon. If you've seen a glowing circle around the moon at night, you've seen a halo. It has a precise size, a ring exactly 22 degrees wide. It's made by light bending through ice crystals in thin, high clouds. And those particular clouds tend to arrive ahead of a warm front, the kind that brings rain. So the old saying, ring around the moon, rain is coming soon, is real optics. Often that rain arrives within about 12 to 24 hours. But the highest level of forecasting wasn't about tomorrow at all. It was about reading the entire year. For that, your ancestors looked past the clouds to the stars. They tracked the sun creeping along the horizon, marking the solstices and the seasons. They watched the phases of the moon, And above all, they watched which stars rose at which time of year. One cluster mattered almost everywhere: the Pleiades. This little smudge of stars appears and disappears on a yearly schedule, and across the world its rising or setting was a signal. Time to plant, time to harvest, the rains are coming, the storm season is here. The Greeks used it. The Maori of New Zealand still celebrate its return. It was a weather calendar written across the sky, the same for everyone who looked up. And eventually people began to write all of this down. Around 2,300 years ago, a Greek poet named Aratus composed a famous work. It cataloged hundreds of signs for reading the weather and the seasons. Farmers, sailors, and entire empires depended on knowledge like it. This was science before science. Observe, record, tested against reality year after year, generation after generation. And here's the thing that should surprise you most. Modern meteorology uses the exact same clues: pressure, humidity, fronts, the movement of systems from west to east. We just measure them with satellites and sensors instead of swallows and sunsets. But we do have to be honest. Not every old saying holds up. The idea that aching joints reliably predict rain is shaky at best. And for every sign that worked, there were superstitions that were just coincidence, remembered when they happened to be right. The real genius of your ancestors wasn't any single sign. It was the ability over thousands of years to slowly sort the signal from the noise, to keep the swallows and quietly forget the omens that failed. So come back to that choice: move camp or stay. Your ancestors made that call without a single instrument. They made it by paying a kind of attention we have almost entirely lost. They could read a language most of us can no longer hear. The smell of the coming rain, the birds flying low, the red at the edge of the sky, and the ring around the moon, that language hasn't gone anywhere. The sky is still telling the same story every single day right over your head. It's just that now we look down at a screen instead of up